Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're live, we're in the studio. Make sure you're getting involved in the chat and the comments. Loads of Manchester United news to be getting on with. So don't hesitate. Get involved. We want to talk about Hugo Ekitike. We want to give a little update on Viktor Gyokeres. We want to also talk about Benjamin Sesko, what's going on there. Plus some quotes from Matheus Cunha, who is now a bona fide official Manchester United player. And a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I've had a lot of messages about the fact we have reached 800k, get my words out. So next stop, 900k. Big thank you to everyone. Good to see so many of the usual suspects in the chat. Brian Casey, Real Recognise Real, Glenn F, Jacoya Trot, all in there as well. Jamie Chambers, Kevin Aitchison. Let's start with the news about Hugo Ekitike. You see this is from the Metro. It says Manchester United have opened talks to sign Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool, according to reports in Germany. Chelsea and Liverpool have already made an approach for Ekitike this summer. However, Frankfurt are demanding a 100 million transfer fee for the 22-year-old. United, meanwhile, are looking to reinforce Ruben Amorim's attacking options ahead of the new season and have already completed a £62.5 million deal to sign Matheus Cunha from Wolves. However, United are also in the market for a central striker and have already seen Liam Delap snub a move to Old Trafford in favour of a transfer to Chelsea. Now, it goes on to say here, according to Sky Germany, United have contacted Frankfurt this week to express their concrete interest and discuss a possible deal for Ekitike. Concrete interest, I'm like a builder. Right, look, have we got 84 million quid to spend on a striker? I don't think so, but we may be able to rustle up some funds if we can move some players out the door. We know that Manchester United do want a striker. We didn't get Liam Delap. That was the obvious one, wasn't it? That was the sort of cut price one as well. 30 million quid for a striker with Premier League pedigree to a certain degree. He's had one season in the Premier League where he did quite well. It made sense. However, that ain't happening. He's gone to Chelsea. Now United have to look elsewhere. We've been linked with Viktor Gyokeres quite heavily. I'm going to get to him in a minute. We've now been linked with Hugo Ekitike. 84 million seems excessive. It seems unlikely. But maybe it's not a million miles away from what Manchester United are going to have to pay if we want to sign a striker. You ain't going to get a striker who can come into Manchester United and do a job for less than 60 million, realistically. Liam Delap was an outlier. He was. Like that's not someone where you go, okay, well, we got Liam Delap for 30 million, but you can do that elsewhere. Strikers like that, with a buyout clause like that, don't happen very often. There isn't anyone else I can see on the market like that. So I think we're going to have to go for someone else and pay a bit more. Obviously we're going to have to go for someone else. We can't get Liam Delap, but we're going to have to pay a bit more if we do want a striker who can come in and do a job. Maybe that is Hugo Ekitike. Looking at his numbers, I mean, he's done very well. We know that. I think, is it 15 goals, I think, in the Bundesliga last season? Let's have a look at his numbers here. Sorry, bear with me. 15 goals and 8 assists in 33 appearances for Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. Very good numbers. So there's no doubting it, the lad, 22 years old, young age. He's talented. But have United got 84 million quid? Now, another player that I've mentioned quite a lot on this channel, and I know a lot of you have been mentioning in the comments in previous videos, is Jonathan David. Could we go in for him from Lille on a free? Possibly. Does seem to be a bit quiet on that front, doesn't it? Not really hearing much. That feels like it was more fan-driven than club-driven. A lot of fans suggesting it. I've mentioned it a few times. A couple of articles sort of saying 2 and 2 equals 4 equals 4. Not many saying that there's concrete interest there and they think it's going to happen. So I'm doubtful on that front, even though I would take Jonathan David. I think he has obviously got a very good goal-scoring record, and if we haven't got the money to buy an Ekitike or Gyokeres, it would make sense. But it doesn't feel like there's a lot happening on that front. Let us know what you think. Can you see us getting Ekitike? I will get to Gyokeres in a minute. I don't know. It seems unlikely, doesn't it? Maurice Marshall says, if we are going to sign Ekitike for that much, Gyokeres would be a better deal. That would make sense to me. Stevie Out says, United wouldn't drop 70 million plus on a young striker. It does feel unlikely. Brian Casey says, a lot of money on another young striker, would rather go all out for Gyokeres. That seems to make more sense, doesn't it? Real Recognises Real says, Ekitike is one of those, of all the news that isn't going to happen things. Yeah, I said that about Donnarumma, didn't I? Of all the things that isn't going to happen, all the news that isn't going to happen, this isn't going to happen the most. I think that's already ended, that little Donnarumma rumour. To be fair, it felt like it was sort of the stories about Donnarumma was just him trying to get a new deal, which I think he's got already. Sanel says he's from Frankfurt. With that price, it's giving Luka Jovic vibes. I think we should stay away from Bundesliga. We just don't recruit well there, says Sanil. I mean, let me know what you think. Do you think Ekitike is the answer? Do you think we can get him? That's the big question. Have United even got anywhere near 84 million to spend on someone like Hugo Ekitike? I don't know. Let's talk about Viktor Gyokeres, because that one is the sort of the transfer that seems more likely of all the transfers that we're being linked with, the strikers that are being linked with. This is the one where it feels as though there's something in it. Now, he was linked at first with Arsenal, won it a few months ago. Arsenal were in for him. It felt like Arsenal were in for him. However, they seem to be heading towards or looking more at Benjamin Sesko. Don't think they're going to get both. So if they are getting Benjamin Sesko, where does that leave Gyokeres? Who else is looking at him? Who else is in for him? Says here on his Instagram, we did a tweet about this. He posted on his Instagram yesterday. There is a lot of talks at the moment. Most of it is false. I will speak when the time is right. There's been this spat, hasn't there, with him and the club, him and the president of Sporting, where the president of Sporting, there was this story on there a few days ago, where he'd said that, or the reports were that there'd been a gentleman's agreement that Viktor Gyokeres could leave Sporting for around, I think, was it 60 million or whatever it was? 59 million quid, I think it was. Well, you can see it here. So we've got the numbers there. So release clause is 85 million quid. Gentleman's agreement price, which Sporting now refused, was 55.3 million. Now, or new likely asking price, according to Romano, 68 to 72 million. So there was reports of this gentleman's agreement that apparently he could be available for 55 million quid, which is great. You think for a player of that calibre, I know he's 27, so he's not a youngster, but you think, okay, if he came in and you got him a few years out of him, 3 or 4 years, and you paid 55 million quid for him, it'd be well worth it. However, I think the president pushed back on that and he said, look, he's not going 55 million. He said, I think he did say he's not going to go for 90 or 100 million. 27-year-olds don't leave Portugal for that kind of money. But it seems like it's somewhere in between, around sort of 68 to 72. I don't think that's a million miles away from what you'd expect to pay for a player of that calibre, to be honest with you. He's just had a ridiculously good season. And yes, people say, oh, well, it's in Portuguese league. It's, you know, it's not the same as scoring in the Premier League or scoring even in the Bundesliga or in the Liga. I get all that, but he has been banging them in. And you can only score against what's in front of him. He's been scoring loads of goals. Now, some people, again, scratching beneath the surface, saying if you look at his non-penalty goals record against the top teams in Portugal, it isn't amazing last season. I think the season before it was a little bit better. He has scored a hat-trick against Manchester City, let's not forget, in the Champions League. Scored so many goals. Can you just ignore that? Can you go, well, who's the opposition? Some people saying he might not cope. The physicality is different in the Premier League. The way he sort of shrugs some players off in Portugal, he might not get away with that in the Premier League. Let me know what you think about Viktor Gyokeres. There's 2 questions you ask yourselves with any striker. 1, can he do a job for Manchester United? And 2, can we get him? Can we get Viktor Gyokeres? And will he do a job at Manchester United? I think he can do a job, and I think we can get him. In all honesty, I think we can get him for around 60 million quid, which I think is about right for a player that scored that many goals. I think if Manchester United are serious, we need a new striker. Yes, Brian Mbeumo, if we get him, we haven't got him yet, can play up front. Yes, you've still got Chido Obe. You've still got Rasmus Højlund as well. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere, although there is interest from Inter. But I think we desperately need a new striker. Let me know what you think. Give us a shout. Heaven Soul says, OMG, a striker scored a few penalties. The outrage. I know this is what people do, though. Brian Casey says, he played great against City last season in the Champions League. He'll be fine in the Prem. Steve Out says, would it be worth giving Sporting Højlund and 10 million? Would that suit all parties? Would they go for that? How much would that value Rasmus Højlund if you give him 10 million and Rasmus Højlund? That probably means you're valuing Rasmus Højlund at around 50 odd million quid. I don't know if they'd go for that one. Abinam Verma says, can he do it on a rainy night in Stoke? Emmett Toner says, New York City in the house. Andrew says, we need a full spine. There's a big argument there, isn't there, about going further back, going to the goalkeeper. Is Andre Onana the right man for the job? If we are going to make all these signings, we are going to improve the team, do we need to improve the goalkeeper as well? Talik Miller says 60 million for Gyokeres would be really good value. To be honest, probably worth 70 million, really. David Dewsnip says we need to get Mbeumo sorted first. Reds, Punk, says, we need the Lord, not just players. Heaven's Soul says, I think 65 plus 10 may be what gets it done, but we can't lose Højlund as a result because then we still have one striker, one 9.5 and a kid. So he wants to keep Rasmus Højlund and bring in Viktor Gyokeres. Kind of makes sense. We've got an update, I think, or is that the update we've already had on Gyokeres? Benjamin Sesko. What's this from? It's caught offside, sorry. Christian Falk, who we've had on the channel, tier 1 when it comes to Germany, now reports that the likes of the what? Oh, the likes of Arsenal and Manchester United will have to fork out in excess of 59.6 million to progress in talks. This is about Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko's national coach has given him a clear message. He should not go to Saudi Arabia. That would not be good for his career. Leipzig are therefore relaxed about the situation. I think he's going to go to Arsenal. The links with United are almost non-existent, to be honest with you. Arsenal, it seems, are moving forward with that one. I think if we are going to get a striker, the likely one is Viktor Gyokeres. It's just dependent on whether we can get the deal done. And I think a big part of that would be sales. We need to move some players on. Now, we know, I know, repeat myself all the time. People go, Jay, you said this, but it's just where we're at. We need to move on Marcus Rashford, Antony. We need to move on Jadon Sancho. And at the minute, we don't have buyers for these clubs. It looks like we're just in this sort of limbo where they're not going back to the clubs that they were loaned out to. Real Betis want another loan move for Antony. We're not going for that. Aston Villa, I don't even know if they want Marcus Rashford. I don't know if he wants to go back there. And Chelsea made it clear. They've not made it clear. Chelsea basically offered Jadon Sancho a deal. He didn't like that deal in terms of the wages, so he's not going to go back to Stamford Bridge. So that leaves us in a situation now where you go, okay, who are we going to get? Who is going to buy these players? What are we going to do with them? Because there's a good chance, or a decent chance, they could end up back in here in the summer for pre-season, and then you sort of, in a bit of a nightmare situation where the season's almost getting underway and you still got these players on your books that don't want to be here. You don't really want, the manager doesn't want him, and not too many clubs are coming in for him. Hopefully, we can find some suitors sooner rather than later. Let me know what you think. Carl Anker says Osimhen, so let's go. Osimhen says I am Lipo. Yeah, Carl Anker loves Victor Osimhen. It looks like Victor Osimhen would be keen on a move to Old Trafford. The trouble with that is the wages and the fee. I think it's around, again, it's all around 60, 70 million for someone like Victor Osimhen, but his wages are reported to be around 400k, or he wants around 400k. He ain't going to get that at Manchester United. The days of us spending 400k on a player have pretty much gone. The 400k a week, I should say, on a player, not just 400k on a player, have pretty much gone. We had it in the past. We had the likes of Alexis Sanchez. You had the likes of David De Gea on that. Doesn't look like it's going to happen anymore. Robert Nasea says this club is dead and gone. Emmy Prowler says Sancho straight scammed us. Clown. Kruna says, didn't we already see the worst hype with Timo Werner? I think that's, he's gone with that one. Brian Casey says Gyokeres needs to be the priority, especially if he wants to come without Champions League football. Hugh Grant says, can't see his wages being that high, Jay. I take it that's about Victor Osimhen. I think these wages are quite high. I certainly think the cap now for United is around, I think it's around 250k a week. I think Bruno might be on that. I know Casemiro might be on a bit more, but I think for players coming in, or the cap that Ineos are looking at is around 250, maybe even a little bit less. Victor Osimhen, I think, would want more than that. I'm not sure whether that's gonna happen. I'd love to see Victor Osimhen come to Manchester United. I think he could do a very good job at Manchester United. I think he'd be a player that the fans would really enjoy watching. But can we get the deal done? It seems unlikely. Yash says Mbumo is good. I think that. Adam says Rashford and Sancho are on more than 250. Well, there's players that are on it on more than that now, but I don't think that's going to happen moving forward. I don't think we're going to get players in for more than that. Barry McConaughey says, wishing Sancho the worst luck on this Friday the 13th. It is Friday the 13th. Let's talk about Matheus Cunha, because we know he is a Manchester United player. We've seen the pictures of him sat there signing on the dotted line. He's got some quotes here from the Manchester United official website. Matheus Cunha says, it is hard to put into words my feelings about becoming a Manchester United player. Ever since I was a child in Brazil, watching Premier League games on TV at my grandmother's house, United was my favourite English team, and I dreamed of wearing the red shirt. I want to thank my family and everyone who has helped me make that dream a reality. I can't wait for the start of pre-season to get to know my teammates and prepare the season ahead. All my focus is now working hard to become a valuable part of the team and helping get this club back to the top. Director of Football Jason Wilcox said, bringing in Matheus was one of our main priorities for this summer, so we are delighted to have completed this signing so early in the window. He has proved his ability to succeed. in the Premier League as one of the most exciting and productive forwards in England during his time at Wolves, and before that in Spain and Germany. He has all the qualities we are looking for as we seek to build a strong, dynamic and entertaining team capable of challenging for the biggest honours. Listen, I love Matheus Cunha. I think he's a very good player. I've been impressed with him when he's at Wolves. His numbers don't lie. He's obviously gets loads of goals and assists. He's an exciting type of player, isn't he, as well? Carries the ball very well. We've seen him do that against United. And people go, oh, well, everyone does that against United. Well, they don't. Not everyone plays as well as Matheus Cunha has against us in the past. And plus, you've seen him do it against other teams as well. I've seen him play very well against the top teams in the Premier League. So it's good that we got that signing done early. We just need to make some more signings. Hopefully, Bryan Mbeumo will be the next one. And maybe it's going to be Viktor Gyokeres. Maybe as well. We're going to get this number 8. We keep hearing about United are in for number 8. Well, who? When is that going to happen? Let's talk about Amad in the new kit. Amad, I have to score a hat-trick in this shirt next season, says Amad. I love that. It's not arrogance. It's a bit of confidence. We need that. Obviously scored a hat-trick against Southampton last season, didn't he? Hopefully he can score a hat-trick in that kit. Hopefully he can score many hat-tricks. Be interesting to see what happens with Amad. If we get Mbeumo and we've got Cunha. If we get Mbeumo as well, does that mean Amad is going to be rotated, or does it mean he'll be a wing-back? I think he could play at wing-back. He's played there in the past, did very well in that position. Didn't he? Remember the Everton game where he was absolutely flying? So we'll have to wait and see. It's nice to have some options, wouldn't it? Get Mbeumo done though, then we'll have more options. That's the priority. As someone said in the chat, I think you're spot on. We need to get Mbeumo done, and then hopefully we can bring in a new striker. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be back later on today with the Brew. We've got a very special guest for that. We've got other videos as well up on the channel. So if you're not doing, make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I've been Jay Moy. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.